So everybody seems to be interested in like what is in your magic box. So since that seems to be a thing, we'll just go through what's in my magic box. Not in my magic box is my binder. I keep all of my downloads, all my instructions for every magic trick that I buy. All the, you see, even the DVDs I got right there. I probably should get a DVD holder for that. And then all these as well. Even if it's a download or something digital, I'll print it out and put it in the binder, because you never know when somebody's website's going to be defunct or something's going to change or whatever. So, you know, technology sometimes doesn't keep up. So I always print them out and keep them, and I've been glad on a few occasions that I have. Some close-up mats. I just got this one. I just kind of like the way it looks, and it's it feels nice, and the cards slide across it pretty good, so I like it. And then this black one is Old Faithful. I like it a lot because you can do some certain tricks on it that you need a black mat for. I don't like it because man, it shows everything. Every little piece of lint shows up on that thing, but it is what it is. I've got some smaller ones too, but I gave to the kids so they can use that. So on to the cases. I have several cases. Here's just 2 or 3 of many. I like just to keep my stuff organized. I don't like to dig around for stuff, so, or at least somewhat organized. Trying to be quick about this, but I didn't realize how hard it was to hold the camera and then do this at the same time, so you know. So in the top of my case, I store most of my small stuff. Over here I've got an aluminum. You put a $50 in the middle and quarters can go through the ends, even though it seems somewhat impossible. I picked that up in Missouri. I got some yeah, you know, buy it a quarter, buy it a $50, those kind of things, or a quarter in a bottle, as I guess is part of that. I carry all my coins in a velvet bag, mostly because I take the time to polish all my coins so they stay nice and bright, and they look really good if you're making a video. So hopping halves and silver, copper, brass, expanded shells, those kind of things. Scotch and soda, I keep all of them in that little brass. I carry in my pocket. Also, I'd hate to take out a $50 or a quarter and pay for something, put it in a Coke machine, and then realize it was just, you know, like a magnetic quarter or something. That would really be horrible. Let's see here. I have a yacht. I got this in Vegas. Brass. We've all seen this, the ball and tube. Most of the props I like to get, if I can, I like to get brass stuff or aluminum or nice looking stuff versus just plastic. If I can't find it in nice materials, I like to make it. So matter of fact, like this, it's kind of, everybody's seen it everywhere. You have several little heart jewels. The spectator picks one, you open up the little necklace case, and it just happens to be the one they chose is on a necklace. It comes in this really cheesy looking plastic jewelry case. So I actually went and got a new jewelry case from a jewelry store, so it's an actual jewelry case, and then I replaced the crappy plastic chain they give you with an actual gold chain. So I kind of like to spiff them up if I can. It just makes the effect look that much better. Sometimes I don't need the effect to look better. Like I think I picked up this one for like $1 or so. Just a bunch of craft beads. They pick a color and they all change to that color. That's kind of a neat little thing. A lock that only the magician can open or only a selected person can open. I have brass disc escape. Obviously we've seen tons of iterations of what this is. This is my favorite, again, because it's brass and all the pieces are real nice. So I kind of like that. I have extra pieces for ball and tube, or if I want to use it for something else. I actually believe these came out of a mousetrap game, but I thought they were for my magic kit, so I put them in here. So spike quarter. You know, everybody's seen this. You put the spikes through, and it magically penetrates the quarter. Again, mine's a nice brass set, which needs to be polished. But then I have this in there as well as a little kicker. You know, quarter bunch of holes poked in it. So usually people are like, oh, I know what you're doing, and that thing pops out that usually shuts up that guy. Let's see here. Move the yacht. Nope. I've got let's see, coins across. With my ton of quarters. This is one of the few tricks that I like in cheap plastic because it's such a cool effect. That the fact that you're using a cheap plastic prop kind of adds to it at the very end. Also, this is the exact size to do a finish with the using a C-size battery. So it's kind of neat when a battery pops out of here that just barely fits. So that's one of the exceptions to the rule. I have some chameleon coins. This is for a trick that uses a paddle move. It's kind of a red light, green light, I guess, kind of thing. A big pile of keys because several of my illusions use keys. A brass pecan. This is one of those rattle cans where there's nothing in it. You know, obviously there is something in it. This is a really cool thing, again, solid brass. This is going to be, I forget the name of it, but it has a hole in the bolt and then in the nut, you thread it and somehow it comes off of there. This one was a magic trick for somebody else. They got it in a stocking or something, and they're like, I don't do magic, you can have it. It's got you put a cigarette, barely fits, and then, you know, it turns into something else. Or nickels to dimes. This is a piece of a different trick. Oh, hey, easy, easy. Let's see here. Some flash cash. That's a kind of a neat deal. You take a dollar bill, it turns into $1, or a piece of paper, it turns into $1. Now you see it. It's a kid's trick. It's got a 3 or 4 cards, and they have an empty top hat, and then a bunny appears. That's kind of neat. UFO dice is one of like my favorite ones to do. Cool effect. Simple to do. Anybody can do it. Uses a little bit of sleight of hand. Nothing too terrible, but I just like the effect. And everybody who sees it's like me. And then of course the finale, they're like, well, what the heck? I got some Tenyo. I got a lot of Tenyo actually. Some kind of dice tower thing from Tenyo. What's underneath there? This in the very bottom here is psychographic domino. I've had that forever. A great trick that I don't think anybody's ever figured out. Then we have some more Tenyo stuff over here. This is you put a card of a lady in there, and then you know she's cut in half, and you mismatch lady, I guess. Vault Vision from Tenyo. I don't use it very often, but I do collect a lot of Tenyo stuff, so I have it. Padlock for something. This was called something, I can't remember what, but man, it's a great trick. It's a keychain. It's a keychain. You get to take a piece of paper and you stick it in there before you start the trick. And the prediction is accurate, even though it's in full view the whole time, so I really like that trick. You need to do that one more often. See, going through your case kind of reminds you to do your stuff. So, over here, let's see here. Let me get on my own light. How about that? That'd be great. Okay, that's better. I've got, oh man, let's see here. Soft Quarters by Tenyo. Again, some of the stuff is just close-up stuff and entertain myself for the kids. I have these, I forget what these things were called. Again, it's something by Tenyo. It's these sticks, and your spectator will line up these crazy symbols, and then you can always determine what it was, even though there's just a ton of symbols on all different sides. You can always tell what it was. Some kind of something sticks, I forget. Sharpie markers, because we always need Sharpie markers, or magic markers if you want to be silly. Then we have more Tenyo. This was some kind of ESP thing. The spectator, you know, this circle and the, anyway. Crystal Cleaver by Tenyo. That was another one of the first tricks that I got. That's fantastic. This is going to be a brass bill tube. Great effect. Same thing with the brass boxes. You borrow a quarter, it vanishes, ends up in the brass boxes. So that's good stuff. Let's see here. Move it along. Get my stuff up here, sink it to the bottom. So now I have to go back after I finish my video and fix this stuff. Oh, look, plenty of room. This is red light, green light. We've all seen that. Cool little trick. Kids love it. This is Tenyo. It's a piece of solid steel or whatever. I guess it's not actually steel. It's probably tin. You put the dice on it. The dice melts through right in front of their very eyes. It's alright. I like it. I mean, it's Tenyo, and I guess I sort of collect that stuff. The handling is a little meh, so I don't do it very often. Mostly just for like people I know or the kids or whatever. They enjoy it and they really don't care about the handling, so always good. Alright, once we get to the bottom down here, these are just extra bags to store crap in. A tablecloth. Oh, now I have, in the very bottom where it's super dark, I've got a silk cabbie. We can take and disappear silks or reappear silks down there, I guess. I have a fantastic illusion where a jumping sign dollar bill. A crystal, I don't know what this is called, some kind of crystal tube thing where you put a bunch of junk in it and it transforms to some other kind of junk. It's more stage magic. I got some Lotta bowls, change bag. I got a really nice set of cups and balls down there. I've got rice bowls down here, mismatched flag, another stage cylinder production tube, Silkola, that's a really cool trick. A glass bottle with a sealed cap is empty, put under a spun aluminum container, you know, voila, and then a handkerchief appears in it. Super cool. I probably have some other stuff down in the bottom. Nothing major though. So that is this box. You see, mostly I do close-up stuff. Haven't done a lot of stage stuff until recently. So now I'm starting to have to kind of transition over to stage stuff. Over here. This is kind of my Tenyo box, I guess. So in the Tenyo box, I've got I can't remember what the name of a lot of these things are. They're just cool. Cuts a quarter in half thing. This is called Squeeze Play. It's really great. I love it. One of the gimmicks though because I used to have this stuff stored on like a china hutch, so it had it all displayed. But in doing that, sometimes your props fade. You can't really see in this video, but on one side it's kind of yellowed. I've bleached it. I've tried everything to get that yellow off there because obviously important it matches, right? So I tried everything to fix it. I can't. If I can find some white stickers, I'll fix it, but it's a great trick. Look up Squeeze Play by Tenyo. If you handle it right, it takes a lot of practice to handle for the handling, but once you get it right, it's kind of phenomenal. This is a coaster for quarter through glass. This, I don't know what the name of this thing is, but you got a ring or a borrowed ring if you can fit it in the box. And you put it on this bolt and you wing nut it in, you get it all secured. It has a plastic top. You cover it and a second later it moves to the ends and so on and so forth. Flash dice, that's a cool one. We've all seen that before. This is a cool Tenyo product where you can make the Statue of Liberty appear or disappear. This is a Tenyo. That's card with a butterfly specimen box. I've only done that a few times for the little kids. This is called Chained. Not really a magic trick, I guess, but it looks like if you do it right. Solid metal ring, and it just jumps onto a chain and finds itself tied on there. I do that for the scouts because of the knot and stuff, so that's kind of their deal. You gotta have one of these in your box. If you don't, go get one or make one. This is actually, it's a fan. You'll see what it is when I take it out here. You'll recognize it right away. It's just a solid wooden block with strings going through it, and you know what it's for. You know, the strings will pass through the block magically. This little house is just a little pagoda that comes with it. You can do the trick without it, but I add a little story about the house and doors and all that other jazz, depending on who I'm doing it for, who my audience is. But the block, it's classic. I mean, it's been around forever. So get you a block and some shoestrings and do that trick. It's really good. Alright, over here. I know we're still going. This is an Escape King. It's a card with a big hole in the middle of it. You put the ribbon through here and through the case and it jumps off somehow. Super simple to do, but man, it's great. And people, I don't know how many times I've done this, 100 or so. Nobody's ever like, I got it. Nobody can figure it out. I'll just hand it, here you go, you do it then. And they can't. Let's see here. Oh, some Tenyo packet tricks. This is a Tenyo, some kind of painting thing. It's a cool enough trick, but the handling on it's a little weird. So I don't do it very often. Maybe I should practice it more, but it's okay. It's okay trick. This is another one by Tenyo. I mean, I guess all of these are from here in Tenyo pretty much. That's a horse racing deal. You predict the order the horse is going to come in. Kind of neat. I like it. Another one of those I can just bust out and do real quick. People are like, what the heck? Let's see. This one. It's a picture frame with a piece of steel instead of glass. Your spectator puts their dice on one side and puts it on whatever you want as you're doing the same thing on the other side. Obviously you can't see each other because of the steel. When you pull the steel all the way, y'all match every time. You can do a finale where they do a card and you can make a prediction or whatever. So it's cool enough. It's a real simple concept to how that works, and you know, Tenyo makes it where anybody can do it. This thing right here, I keep all the time. Here's why I don't ever do this trick. But it's got a piece of glass in there. Woohoo! And you put a coin to the slot. We actually show you tip the glass out and you show that it's solid glass. You put a coin to the slot, and then obviously it slowly melts through and comes out the bottom side. So the reason I keep this one is for these reasons. I bought this online. Online it looked like, you know, mahogany with solid gold hinges, and you know the glass was Swartz crystal or something. I don't know, I didn't actually describe it that way, but online it looked fantastic. When it showed up at my house, it's garbage. It's garbage. It has a sticker that says made in China on the bottom of it. It doesn't fit very well. None of the parts fit very well. Even the hinge is junk. I mean, this whole thing is just junk. And then as you hold it, it just falls apart in your hand. I mean, I don't typically show how my tricks are done, but you can see that this one doesn't even stay together. So I mean, you just can't really do that and make it look right without putting a freaking handkerchief over it and ruining it anyways. So I kind of keep this one around to remind myself not to buy junk online. Unless it's a reputable dealer that we all know, I just stay away from them. And then I stick to the brick and mortar stores. If there's something online I see that I like, I'll go to the brick and mortar store and say, hey, what about this trick? Can you get it in for me? And we both learn that way. So support your brick and mortars. Anyway, so that's kind of like caveat emptor, buyer beware. I keep that around to remind myself. Stop being stupid. Oh my gosh, so much stuff in here. This is a crystal blow tube, you know, 3 handkerchiefs, and you put them in there and they come out tight when you blow them out of there. Everybody knows what these are, linking rings. I don't ever do these, but I kind of felt like I needed to have them in my kit just because I couldn't be a, you know, amateur magician without a set. I do them for like my kids. You know, they kind of dig it a little bit, but anytime you're doing like an actual or doing tricks for somebody and you bring out rings, they're going to be like, good night. So I don't ever do that really. Let's see, that is a list for a magic show that I did. Let's see here, Eye the Idol, cool Tenyo trick. Patriotic beads, I got 3. This is kind of a cool one, I do it for Cub Scouts. It's got 3 glass tumblers full of those little craft beads, and then they pick 2 colors, you pull them together, give it a little shake so they're all nice and mixed up, and then you can instantly separate them. This is called Slicey Dicey, I believe this is by Tenyo. It's kind of a small version of the stage magic, where you put a block in here and you put these blades across, and you know, somehow magically it can penetrate the blades. It's cool. Yeah, let's see here, patriotic ropes. We know what those are for, right? Yep. Then I have this is a cool Tenyo trick. It's new, and I think I'll actually demonstrate this one at some point. But basically, it's a picture frame, and you have these pink plexiglass pieces that are cut into shapes that just fit in this frame just so. And you get 2 extra pieces. Somehow the 2 extra pieces, you can rearrange the pieces and they fit in there, which mathematically shouldn't happen. But then you rearrange it again, you add extra pieces, you rearrange it again, you add extra pieces, so somehow all these extra pieces keep fitting in the same size frame. And it's very clever the way they did it, but people at Tenyo, they're pretty clever. Let's see here, this was old, man, this is an old one. It has a little assistant that sits on these 2 blocks on here, and she can levitate off of there, and you pull the blocks out from underneath her so they can see like a levitation act like right in front of their eyes. Again, not something I do very often. This is Card Surgery, Professor's Nightmare. You can do it different ways. Mine, I show 3 equal lengths and then they're tie them together, make 1 long rope, come back out, you know, 3 different size ropes. So, you know, Professor's Nightmare's 1,000 different ways to do it. Flash Cash, I got this in Vegas from Lance Burton's store. It's a really cool effect because this lock is actually, I actually did punch a hole through the dollar bill to make this trick a little better. And it's got a hole here where you'll sign it, or it'll be signed. And you have a spectator sign a dollar bill and they instantly swap out from between the 2. But I need some rubber bands to hold this thing together because I guess mine sat in this box too long and they don't hold it very well to heat. Card in a frame. I don't even know where this thing came from, but hey, look, it's probably the red cards I was looking for. Meh. Oh, I bet I was protecting the glass. That's what I was doing. I got a bunch of little knickknacks and stuff like this guy right here. I'll take and cover the ends with tissue, showing it's empty, and then I would stick my thumb through there and then pull out a silk or whatever, you know, magically, as you probably know how I do that. This is brand new by Tenyo. It's got little foam sponge dogs in it that change colors, change positions, or whatever. A crystal production box that's empty, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's got sponge balls or whatever else you went to doing it. and I just mainly keep some silks in there and kind of for storage and extra pieces and gimmicks. Whew. There's a lot of stuff. There's a whole lot of stuff in these boxes. Let's see here. Let's go to the basement here. This is the only way to travel as far as carrying your stuff around. Alright. Oh goodness. Okay. A nice little dot board. You know, show 1, 2, 3, 4. Then in here, starting to get some more of the card magic and stuff. And I got some pretty good ones. Little Bunny's card trick. It looks like a little kid's nursery book, something that's really cheesy, but man, I love doing this one because it's so cool. So I do this one for adults more than do kids, actually, because it's so, you know, even though I know how to do it, as I'm doing it, I'm like, why does this work? Some wax, in case you need wax, rubber bands. They got just some props. These are some balloons for needle through balloons. I got these gigantic clear balloons, so I can use that. Some scotch tape for making magic loops or whatever. Obviously, we have some thumb tips and junk in there. Diamond Twist by Alan Wong. Oh, that's an awesome trick. I got a lot of packet tricks, just a ton of them from different ones. Let's see, lots of different decks of cards as you could imagine. An Omni deck. I got some piles of just junk cards, you know, if you're going to tear one up or whatever. ESP decks, invisible decks, Stringale decks, stripper decks, color changing decks, rainbow decks, wicked decks. Pretty much any deck that you can think of I've got. And also I have a lot more decks because if I buy a packet trick, it's always weird if you take this little thing out of your pocket and you only have 4 cards in it, and you're like, I want to show you a trick and you only got 4 cards. You're like, well, clearly something weird's about to happen because where's the rest of the deck? So what I like to do is, if I buy a packet trick, I like to buy a deck of cards that matches that, and I'll put my packet trick in the deck of cards, and I'll put a mark on it so I know what trick it is. That way if I get to do something cool like, I don't know, like Twisted Sisters or something like that, then I can take an entire deck of cards out, open the deck, thumb through it and say I'm just going to need the queens, and I'll remove my, obviously, gaffed cards. So I like that. I've got, which one is this? This is a this. I've heard of this trick before. I got Color Money. I've got Magic 8 Ball, NFW. This is a mental wallet type of deal. But most of them I've already stuck my packet tricks back inside of a deck of cards. So I'd recommend that if you're out doing whatever it is you're doing, you know, walk around or some kind of magic, I recommend putting your packet tricks in. Go ahead and spend the $2 on a deck of cards. That way it looks a little better when you're like, let me show you something. You pull out an actual deck of cards. What a bad example, it's a rainbow deck. But you pull out an actual deck of cards, you can open it up, thumb through them, and say, let me just use the queens, or let me just use the whatever you're doing. You get the idea. Deeper still. Deeper still. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, buddy. Alright, down in the, look, here's some more packet tricks. I guess I was in a hurry last time and just kind of threw the wallets in there. But see, if you pull this out of your back pocket and so let me show you a trick, you're like, well, obviously something's up because you've got these, you know, where do these wallets come from? So, more packets. Let's see what they are. I do like doing them, though. Your card is my pocket. Oh, yeah. I think one of these is a princess card trick that everybody has. That's a, what is it? West's 8 Ball. This is probably Color Money. Okay, put that aside. I have always got to have something real simple. So, you know, the dollar with the 2 paperclip trick. That's a really cool one to have in your pocket ready to go. It's super simple. And I teach this to Cub Scouts so they can do a magic trick too where they jump off and they're linked. And then I can go from that into a bunch of different silly $1 bill tricks. Pen through anything trick. Always make sure your pen has fresh ink in it, otherwise it looks hinky when it doesn't work. Pom-pom tricks, a stratosphere, Tubby the Clown. This is with the clown's red on one side, blue on the other side, and you get some mileage out of that. Turn it around, and then you turn it around, and you know it's the back of the clown. This paper bag. It's a decent trick, and it's you have a empty paper bag, and then all of a sudden you start pulling these giant production flower boxes out of it until they stack up taller than the paper bag. I like it, except I don't like that it came in this weird manila paper bag. So I intend to re-gimmick that trick with a brown paper bag from a grocery store, so it looks more usual. It doesn't look like, what the heck, where did that bag come from? I want it to look like it's something that's common every day. And I got some more production boxes down in here. I have, let me dig here a little bit. I got some coloring books back there. We know what those do. Pom Pom Press Sticks, you know what those do as well. And then I have, I think this is a die box. Yes. This is another, this actually came with the coin, the little wooden box I showed with the glass in it, the quarter through glass trick. This came with it. And it came from, I don't know, God knows what country. But you know, it looks nice, right? Ooh, look at that. Little dragons on there. Was it gold inlay? But when you actually look at this thing, it is such junk. I mean, it's all nicked up and tore up. It looks like, I mean, nothing's lined up. It's just crap construction. It doesn't work. Never has. The little hinges don't line up, so that doesn't work. The dice it comes with looks dumb. I mean, they're off. Everything's off-centered. The gimmick that comes with it, that doesn't look like dice. I mean, that looks funny to begin with, right? What is that? I mean, instantly show somebody that and they're like, oh, what is this, amateur hour? So I just don't like it when you get real low quality crap. So I've never done this trick, and actually the instructions were so confusing you couldn't quite figure out what it is and how you're supposed to. See, that does not look like the dice that you're going to pull out. I mean, clearly that's something's wrong with that. Like a third grade built that. So I keep these when I talk to some people. I'm like, let me show you what online ordering we'll get. And like I said, unless it's a reputable company that, you know, the big ones that we know of. But when it's, you know, a trick that normally runs $50 everywhere, and you find it online, it's $13. That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get something like that. I think that besides, I'm not gonna go through piles and piles and piles of playing cards. I mean, I think it's just pointless to show you all the decks and decks and decks and decks of cards, because we've all got them. But that's pretty much the setup. I've got one more steamer size trunk that has big illusions in it for stage, because like I said, I'm just now transitioning to some bigger stage magics and some bigger props. But I think it's a decent amount of stuff. I don't have any idea how many tricks that would be. Probably, I don't know, a few hundred if I performed them all, including all the coin tricks and card tricks and stuff. So just thought I'd kind of give you a brief go through what's in my bag. Now I have to take the time to put all that stuff back where it belongs. Thanks.